BestBookBits.com presents The Black Swan by Nassim Taleb. The Black Swan is a concept that will change the way you look at the world. Black swans underlie almost everything, from the rise of religions to events in our own lives. A black swan is a highly improbable event with three principal characteristics. It's unpredictable, carries a massive impact, and after the fact we concoct an explanation that makes it appear less random than it was. An astonishing success of Google was a black swan, so was 9/11. Nassim Taleb reveals that we are hardwired not to truly estimate risk, too vulnerable to the impulse to simplify, narrate and categorize, and not open enough to rewarding those who can imagine the impossible. In this revelatory book, Taleb explains everything we know about what we don't know and shows us how to face the world. The written and audio summary can be found on our website, bestbookbits.com. So without further ado, I bring the book summary of The Black Swan. A black swan has three characteristics. Number one, it is an outlier beyond the normal range of expectations because nothing in the past could point to it being likely to happen. Number two, it has a massive impact. And three, despite number one, we create explanations for it after the fact, making it seem explainable and predictable. Business. The payoff of a human venture is, in general, inversely proportional to what it is expected to be. To make a killing in some industry, you need to do something beyond the currently conceived realm of possibilities. Be a chef. Indeed, in some domains such as scientific discovery and venture capital investments, there is a disproportionate payoff from the unknown, since you typically have little to lose and plenty to gain from a rare event. The strategy for the discoverers and entrepreneurs is to rely less on top-down planning and focus on maximum tinkering and recognizing opportunities when they present themselves. So I disagree with the followers of Marx and those of Adam Smith. The reason free markets work is because they allow people to be lucky, thanks to aggressive trial and error, not by giving rewards or incentives for skill. The strategy is then to tinker as much as possible and try to collect as many black swan opportunities as you can. In general, positive black swans take time to show their effect, while negative ones happen very quickly. It is much easier and much faster to destroy than to build. Recall the distinction between mediocristan and extremistan in Chapter 3. I said that taking a scalable profession is not a good idea, simply because there are far too few winners in these professions. While these professions produce a large cemetery, the pool of starving actors is larger than the one of starving accountants, even if you assume that on average they earn the same income. This same point can be generalized to life. Maximize the serendipity around you. Maximize the serendipity around you. Knowledge. We do not spontaneously learn that we don't learn that we don't learn. The problem lies in the structure of our minds. We don't learn rules, just facts and only facts. Meta rules, such as the rule that we have a tendency to not learn rules. We don't seem to be good at getting. We scorn the abstract, we scorn it with passion. What you know cannot really hurt you. To slowly distill my single idea, I wanted to become a flaneur, a professional meditator, sit in cafes, lounge, unglued to desks and organization structures. Sleep as long as I needed, read vicariously, and not owe any explanation to anybody. But modern reality rarely gives us the privilege of a satisfying, linear positive progression. You may think about a problem for a year and learn nothing. Unless you are disheartened by the emptiness of results and give up, something will come to you in a flash. Have you ever wondered why so many of these straight A students end up going nowhere in life, while someone who lagged behind now is getting the shekels, buying the diamonds, and getting his phone calls returned, or even getting the Nobel Prize in a real discipline, say medicine? Some of this may have something to do with luck in outcomes, but there is this sterile and obscurantist quality that is often associated with classroom knowledge that may get in the way of understanding what's going on in real life. I propose that if you want a simple step to a higher form of life, as distant from the animal as you can get, then you may have to degenerate, that is, shut down the television set, minimize time spent reading newspapers, ignore the blogs. As you give someone more info, the more they will refine and create predictions, and the more wrong they will end up being. They will interpret random noise as valuable data. Sir Francis Bacon commented that the most important advances are the least predictable ones, those lying out of the path of the imagination. In reality, languages grow organically. Grammar is something people, without anything more exciting to do in their lives, codifying into a book. While the scholastic-minded will memorize declensions, the aplatonic non-nerd will acquire, say, serbo-Croatian by picking up potential girlfriends in bars on the outskirts of Sarajevo, or talking to cab drivers, then fitting, if needed, grammatical rules to knowledge he already possesses. To borrow from Warren Buffett, don't ask the barber if you need a haircut, and don't ask an academic if what he does is relevant. The triplet of opacity. The illusion of understanding, or how everyone thinks he knows what is going on in a world that is more complicated or random than they realize. The retrospective distortion, or how we can amass matters only after the fact, as if they were in the rearview mirror. History seems clearer and more organized in history books than in empirical reality. The overvaluation of factual information and the handicap of authoritative and learned people, particularly when they create categories, when they politify. Mediocristan versus extremistan. Mediocristan is the linear, limited difference, acceptable realm of human height and running speeds. Extremistan is the unexpectable black swan world of financial markets, book sales, and death by terrorism. Mediocristan is where we must endure the tyranny of the collective, the routine, the obvious, and the predicted. Extremistan is when we are subjected to the tyranny of a singular, the accidental, the unseen, and the unpredicted. You can't lose a ton of weight in one day, but you can lose a ton of money. The turkey. Consider a turkey that is fed every day. Every single feeding will firm up the bird's belief that it is the general rule of life to be fed every day by friendly members of the human race, looking out for its best interest. As a politician would say, on the afternoon of Wednesday before Thanksgiving, something unexpected will happen to the turkey. It will incur a revision of belief. Its confidence increased as the number of friendly feeding grew, and it felt increasingly safe even though the slaughter was more and more imminent. If you survive until tomorrow, it could mean that either A, you are more likely to be immortal, or B, that you are closer to death. Both conclusions rely on the exact same data. Sucker problems. Black swans are relative to your knowledge and expectations. What is a black swan to some may be completely expected to others. The butcher is not surprised before Thanksgiving, but the turkey is. Avoid situations where you can be a fool in a huge way. Avoid dependence on a large, potentially harmful predictions. Domain special knowledge. We can learn things in one area and fail to transfer them to another, knowing that all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, does not seem to help us realize that all Muslims are not terrorists. The narrative fallacy. When looking back at history, we tend to construct it an interpretation that fits into a nice story, when it's likely that what actually occurred was much more random and unplanned. We want to believe there was a nice clear progression and that it was predictable, when really it wasn't. The way to avoid the ills of the narrative fallacy is to favor experimentation over storytelling, experience over history, and clinical knowledge over theories. Silent evidence. Rarely do we see the failures of a situation. There's a strong bias towards the winners or a survivorship bias. We see the people who were nudged to the shore by dolphins because they survived, not the people who were nudged away and drowned. The danger of averages. When you measure averages in Extremistan, you run the risk of getting useless and dangerous information. If you cross a river that is, on average, 4 feet deep, you will likely drown. Taking advantage of the serendipity. Positive black swans. Position yourself in an industry with small losses and huge wins, like venture capital, publishing, scientific research, or movies. Don't look for precise and local. Don't be narrow-minded. Don't try to predict. Just move in the right direction. Seize any opportunity or anything that looks like an opportunity. Positive black swans can only benefit you if you are exposed to them. Work hard in chasing such opportunities and exposing yourself to them. Go to parties. Be skeptical of any precise plan within Extremistan, government planning. Don't waste time trying to fight forecasters or other people platifying Extremistan. Put yourself in situations where favorable consequences are much greater than the negative ones. Not necessarily more likely, but more life-changing. The end. Missing a train is only painful if you run after it, if you allow yourself to care. You can stand above society and the pecking order by choice, by creating your own idea of success. Quitting a high-paying position, it is your decision, will seem a better payoff than the utility of money involved. This may seem crazy, but I've tried it and it works. This is the first step towards the Stoics knowing a 4-letter word at fate. You have far more control over your life if you decide on your criterion by yourself. Seneca ended his essays, written in the epistolary form, with veil, often mistranslated as farewell. It has the same root as value or valor, and means both be strong, i.e. robust, and be worthy, veil. And that's a wrap on the book summary of The Black Swan by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Check out a YouTube channel with over 400 video book summaries uploaded previously, and subscribe for notifications for new posts. If you're into the written PDF book summary, check out our website, bestbookbits.com, where you can download the written and PDF summary in video categories such as biographies, business and marketing, habits, health, leadership, money, personal development, philosophy, psychology, real estate, sales, spirituality, success, and time management. If you're into the audio podcast version, check out mixcloud.com/bestbookbits for over 400 audio book summaries. And last, follow us on Instagram at bestbookbits for daily motivational quotes and book summaries. Thanks for watching and listening. Hope you got something out of this. Go out there and find your positive black swan. Take care.